Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome back to the deep dive.
And we have quite a stack this week.
We really do. If you sent us your reading list, you were clearly seeking to master the lexicon of the 21st century.
That's a good way to put it. The vocabulary is just exploding.
It is. We have sources here on everything. I mean, from the physical cables running under the ocean floor all the way to
The ephemeral rules governing what you see when you scroll. Yeah.
And what's fascinating here, and you can see it in the sources, is the sheer velocity of the change.
Absolutely. Just 10 years ago, a lot of the terms we now use daily, like, cryptocurrency, the metaverse, even specific cybersecurity threats, they were either super niche or just didn't exist at all.
So our mission today isn't just to define a list of terms. It's to extract and synthesize the essential vocabulary and core concepts.
Right. We're talking about the internet, digital tech, security, the future of connectivity. The goal is for you to walk away feeling thoroughly informed about this entire modern digital landscape.
I think we can start with a massive consensus, something all the sources agree on. The internet is arguably the single most revolutionary invention of the past century.
Oh, without a doubt. It didn't just automate tasks. That's what computers did. The internet fundamentally transformed how we access information, how we talk to each other globally.
How we do business, how we entertain ourselves, everything.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this transformation is multifaceted. It's not just one thing.
You can't just talk about software.
No, exactly. You have to look at the physical architecture supporting all that data, then the complex virtual spaces it enables.
And the increasing challenges that come with it, like cybersecurity.
And then the latest evolution into mobile technology and this extension of the network into everyday objects, the Internet of Things, or IoT.
That comprehensive journey is our roadmap for this deep dive.
Pretty big roadmap.
It is. So let's start with the absolute foundation. We talk about the internet like it's just, magic floating in the air.
Right, like it's a cloud, but it's not.
It's physical. So what is the internet, technically speaking?
In the simplest terms, it's a global network of interconnected computer systems and servers. They're all communicating with each other using standardized protocols.
So not one single system.
No, not at all. It's a network of networks. The old information superhighway analogy, it's a bit dated, but it's not entirely wrong.
Instead of cars, you have data.
Billions and billions of pieces of data, exactly.
Right.
All traveling at incredible speeds.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this, we need to nail down the foundational vocabulary for access. Let's start with the most basic necessity: connectivity.
Connectivity is really just the ability of devices, your computer, your phone, whatever, to connect to those networks and communicate.
Simple enough.
It is, but if you don't have it, your $1,000 smartphone is basically a paperweight. Good, stable connectivity is the absolute bedrock for every single digital experience you have.
Right, and once you have that connection, the quality is measured by bandwidth.
Bandwidth is absolutely key. The term describes the maximum amount of data that can be transmitted over your connection in a given amount of time.
So sticking with that highway analogy.
If connectivity is just having a road, bandwidth is how many lanes that road has. And that determines how much traffic, or in this case, data, can move at the same time.
More lanes, faster travel.
Exactly. Higher bandwidth means faster internet speeds, less of that annoying buffering when you're watching a video, and the ability to handle much more data, like if you have multiple people in your house streaming 4K video at once.
And the technology that really moved us past that single-lane dirt road of the past is broadband.
Broadband is the general term for high-speed internet access. Its main characteristics are high capacity and being always on.
That was the radical shift, wasn't it? Away from the old painfully slow dial-up access.
Oh, it was a revolution. Most people under 30 might not even remember the agony of waiting for the modem to connect, that whole screeching sound.
I remember it very well.
Broadband, whether it's delivered by cable, DSL, or fiber-made, that whole historical bottleneck, just obsolete. It completely changed our expectation of speed and availability.
Speaking of speed, the sources are clear on this. We have to talk about the current gold standard for data transmission, which is fiber optic technology.
Fiber is revolutionary. It's fundamentally different because it uses light to transmit data through these incredibly thin strands of glass or plastic.
Instead of electricity.
Right, instead of electrical signals down a copper wire. Because light travels so incredibly fast and doesn't suffer from the same issues as electricity, fiber optic cables offer blazing fast speeds.
We're talking up to a gigabit per second or even higher.
Or higher, yeah. And they maintain extremely high reliability and very low latency over huge distances.
That's the critical distinction, isn't it? The traditional copper cables, the ones used for old telephone lines and older cable internet, they transmit electrical signals.
And those signals degrade. They get weaker the farther they travel, and they're really susceptible to electromagnetic interference.
So that's why your speed might drop the farther you are from the central hub or the exchange.
Exactly. Fiber just bypasses all those fundamental physical limitations.
And when we talk speed, we're usually talking megabits per second, or Mbps. But it's crucial for you to differentiate between two key metrics here.
Yes. Download speed and upload speed, they are not the same thing.
Download speed is how quickly data travels from the internet to your device. This is what you rely on for most of what you do online.
Right. Streaming videos, browsing websites, downloading games, or software updates. If your provider says you have a 300 Mbps connection, that's usually your maximum download speed.
But then there's upload speed. That's how quickly data travels from your device back to the internet.
And this matters hugely for things like video conferencing. You're sending your video stream out, or for backing up large files to the cloud, or for anyone creating and uploading content.
And most consumer connections are what they call asymmetrical.
Meaning the download speed is way, way faster than the upload speed. And that's because historically, most of us consumed far more data than we generated.
But with working from home, video calls, even hosting a deep dive like this, that upload speed becomes just as critical. The balance is definitely shifting.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving from the metrics of speed to the actual structure, let's talk about the physical backbone, the infrastructure that makes all this possible.
And the scale of this infrastructure is just staggering. It requires these massive facilities known as data centers.
Which are really just huge specialized buildings. They house thousands upon thousands of servers that store and process the world's information.
So when you're using Google Drive or watching Netflix, the data is being pulled from one of these massive facilities.
Yep, often run by giants like Amazon Web Services, Google, or Microsoft Azure. They are the physical heart of the cloud.
And connecting those colossal data centers across oceans are the undersea cables.
This is the physical reality we were talking about earlier. These are actual physical cables lying on the ocean floor that carry the vast majority of all international data traffic between continents.
It's a massive, surprisingly vulnerable physical network that underpins our entirely virtual world.
It is. And within that complex infrastructure, every interaction boils down to a core relationship: servers and clients.
Explain that dynamic for us.
A server is just a specialized computer. It's designed to provide data, services, or resources to other computers.
And the client is my device, my phone, my laptop that's asking for that data.
Exactly. When you click a link, your client sends a request across the network. The server that houses that website responds by sending the data packets back to you.
It's a constant request-response loop.
Happening trillions of times every single second, all over the world.
And for all of this to work, for my device in one country to talk to a server in another, every device has to agree on a universal set of rules. Those rules are the protocols.
Precisely. Protocols are the standardized procedures that govern how data is formatted, addressed, transmitted, and received across all these different networks.
And the most fundamental set of rules, the one that defines the entire internet,
is TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol.
So how does TCP/IP actually manage all this data? It relies on breaking information down into data packets.
It's just a beautiful piece of engineering. Instead of trying to send one massive file across the network, which could easily fail and force you to start all over again.
Right, like a dropped call.
Exactly.
Yeah.
TCP/IP breaks the file into small, manageable chunks called data packets. We can use the analogy of sending a high-speed jigsaw puzzle through the mail.
Okay, I like that.
Each small packet travels independently. They might even take different routes across the network to find the most efficient path.
And the protocols ensure they all get there and are put back together correctly.
Perfectly. TCP handles the error checking and reassembly. IP handles the addressing and the writing. It makes the whole system incredibly resilient.
That addresses the transmission. But how does the network know where to send those packets in the first place? That's where the IP address comes in.
The IP address is the unique identifier assigned to every single device connected to the internet. Think of it as the computer's digital postal address.
It tells the data exactly where to go.
And where it came from. Without a unique address, routing data would be completely impossible.
And here we have to note the distinction between the historical standard, IPv4, and the modern one, IPv6.
Yes. IPv4, the older standard,
Oh, yeah.
uses 32-bit addresses. It's
Yeah.
the familiar format, like 192.168.1.1.
And when the internet was designed, that seemed like more than enough.
It did.
Uh,
32 bits allowed for over 4 billion unique addresses. But with the explosive growth of the internet, then the rise of mobile devices, and now the coming explosion of the Internet of Things,
we started running out.
we faced a crisis of address exhaustion, which drove the necessity of IPv6.
And the scale of that change is mind-boggling.
It really is. IPv6 uses a 128-bit address scheme. To give you a sense of scale, it doesn't just add a few billion more addresses. It can theoretically support 340 undecillion unique addresses.
Which is a number so big I can't even picture it.
No one can. But it's designed to future-proof the internet and handle the astronomical growth of connected devices for the foreseeable future.
Okay, that's the addressing system. But as a human, I don't type a string of numbers to get to a website. I type in a name. That translation happens thanks to DNS.
DNS, the domain name system. It is rightly called the Internet's phone book.
It's a perfect analogy.
It is. It's this huge distributed database system that translates the human-friendly domain names you type in, like google.com, into the numeric IP addresses that the network's routers and servers actually need to route the traffic.
So it's working behind the scenes.
Constantly. When you type in a URL, DNS is working instantly, often checking with multiple servers to find the correct server address for you. It's so essential yet so seamless that most of us never even think about it.
Until it breaks.
Until it breaks. And then the whole internet seems to disappear.
So we have the physical pipes, the data packets, and the addresses. That whole infrastructure enables us to move from the physical layers to the non-physical realm. Cyberspace.
Cyberspace is a great term. It's the conceptual, non-physical environment created by all these computer networks and the internet.
It was coined in the 80s by a novelist, right, William Gibson.
That's right. But today, this virtual space is fundamentally intertwined with our physical reality. It's where we now shop, socialize, conduct global finance, work.
Learn everything. And that space is becoming rapidly more immersive. The first major technology driving this is virtual reality, VR.
VR is all about full immersion. It uses specialized equipment, a headset, controllers, to simulate an environment, placing you entirely inside a three-dimensional digital world.
The goal is to create a sense of presence.
Exactly, to make you feel like you are physically located within that virtual world, not just looking at a screen.
And the applications for VR are moving way beyond just high-end gaming.
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing powerful uses in education, especially for hands-on, high-risk training.
Like surgery.
Medical students can practice complex surgical procedures without ever risking a real patient's life. Architects can walk clients through a building before the first brick is even laid. It's an incredibly powerful visualization and training tool.
So in contrast to VR's full immersion, we have augmented reality, AR.
Right. AR doesn't replace the real world. It overlays digital information onto it.
It mixes realities. AR uses your phone's camera or special glasses to bring digital elements into your current view.
Pokemon Go is the classic early example, right?
Yeah.
Using the camera to make it look like digital creatures were right there in your park.
Or more practically, you see it in furniture apps that let you place a virtual sofa in your living room to see how it fits.
Or navigation systems that display directions right over the live view of the road ahead of you.
And bringing both of these concepts into a much larger, more interconnected vision is the term that has dominated tech news recently, the metaverse.
The metaverse is often misunderstood. People think it's just a game or a single VR world.
But the sources define it as something far broader. It's an interconnected network of virtual worlds, a collective shared space,
where that virtually enhanced physical reality AR converges with a physically persistent virtual space, like VR.
The key characteristics seem to be persistence.
Meaning it continues to exist and evolve even when you aren't logged in.
Interoperability.
The ability to take your digital items or your avatar from one virtual world to another, which is a huge technical challenge.
And economic integration.
The ability to conduct real business, to own virtual assets, and to transfer value within that space. It's the evolution of cyberspace, from a place you browse to a place you can inhabit.
Now, crucial to today's cyberspace, even before the metaverse fully arrives, are the virtual communities built on social media platforms.
Like Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn. These spaces thrive entirely on user-generated content.
Or UGC. And that's just any material, text, photos, videos created directly by the users themselves.
Right, not by professional media companies. This completely shifted the power dynamic of media. Anyone can be a publisher now.
And the success of the platform depends entirely on the continuous creation and sharing of that UGC.
This whole cultural shift has introduced a brand new lexicon that is now just, part of the English language. We're talking about hashtag trending viral influencer.
While the basic definitions are pretty widely understood, a hashtag for categorization, the feed being your stream of content, the real insight for this deep dive is in how these elements interact with the system.
That brings us directly to the role of algorithms.
What determines if something goes viral? Or why an influencer's content shows up in my feed? It's all the algorithm.
Algorithms are the fundamental sets of rules and calculations used by these platforms, and their core function is actually very simple: to personalize content and determine what you see based on your prior behavior, your interests, and your interactions.
So if I watch a 5-minute cat video,
The algorithm assumes you like cats, and it will prioritize similar content in your feed to keep you on the platform longer.
but here's where we move past the simple definition to the consequence. When these algorithms focus only on engagement, just keeping you watching, they can create what are called filter bubbles or echo chambers.
That's the critical synthesis. The system, often called collaborative filtering, suggests content based on what similar users enjoyed. It's efficient, but it can isolate you digitally,
You're only shown content that affirms what you already believe or like.
which leads to confirmation bias and, in many cases, polarization, because conflicting or dissenting viewpoints are intentionally pushed down your feed to keep you engaged and happy.
That's a powerful insight. It completely changes how you view a simple term like trending. Now, moving to the platforms themselves, each one has developed its own specific culture, often dictated by its format.
Look at Twitter, or X. Its historical 280-character limit forced this rapid-fire, concise communication. It encourages debate and quick news dissemination through tweets and retweeting. It's all about immediacy.
Then you have Instagram, which is almost entirely visual photos and videos. Its core structure separates persistent posts on the feed from temporary content via stories that disappear after 24 hours.
And they keep adding new formats, like Reels for short-form video.
Yeah.
The whole focus is aesthetic and highly curated.
TikTok, on the other hand, just exploded because it mastered that short-form video format and paired it with an incredibly effective predictive algorithm.
That's the key difference. Unlike older platforms that prioritize content from your friends, your social graph, TikTok prioritizes content it thinks you will like from anyone, anywhere.
Which drives discovery at a speed no other platform has ever matched.
And we can't forget the giant, YouTube. It's the world's second largest search engine after Google. It's both an entertainment platform and a massive educational resource.
It's evolved so much now, including everything from live streaming to premium subscriptions.
And finally, we have to acknowledge LinkedIn, which really stands apart. It's the professional networking platform.
Its whole function is vetting and career development. The culture there is strictly professional, focused on business connections, job searching, and industry news.
All of these interactions are enhanced by new forms of communication, new tools for digital expression that often have to replace subtle, nonverbal cues.
Right, we rely on them so heavily.
We do. Emojis are these small digital images that express concepts or emotions, and they're so efficient at cutting through the ambiguity of text.
Then you have GIFs, those short, looping video clips used for reactions.
And memes, humorous, often captioned images or videos, have become the internet's shared cultural language. They're a form of commentary that spreads incredibly fast.
And the etiquette for all these tools is sort of codified in etiquette, the proper way to behave online.
Etiquette is basically just digital social manners. It means respecting others, being mindful of privacy,
And certainly not typing in all CCAP-ES.
which is universally seen as shouting. It's a necessary attempt to bring some decorum and professionalism into a space that often operates without traditional social boundaries.
Okay, that shifts us from how we communicate and socialize to how we do business and manage data. The internet isn't just social, it's the engine driving global business, and that really starts with cloud computing.
The cloud is a concept everyone uses, but few people really understand the underlying mechanism.
It's just someone else's computer.
That's the classic joke, but it's true. It refers to the delivery of computing services, servers, storage, databases, software over the internet.
Instead of buying and maintaining your own physical servers on site.
You rent access to resources from massive cloud providers like Amazon, Microsoft, or Google.
The primary advantages of this model are its scalability and flexibility.
Scalability is huge. It means you can instantly adjust your resources based on demand. If your website suddenly gets a huge spike in traffic, You don't have to go buy and install new servers.
You just provision more power from the cloud instantly.
And flexibility means you operate on a pay-per-use basis. You treat computing like a utility, like electricity. You only pay for what you consume, rather than making a massive upfront investment in your own data center.
Now, this is where we need to get a little deeper into the three main cloud service models because they define the relationship between you and the infrastructure. Let's start with the most common one for consumers, SaaS.
SaaS stands for Software as a Service. This model provides fully functional software applications over the internet.
So you, the consumer, only access the application. You don't worry about the underlying infrastructure, the operating system, any of the updates.
Exactly. Examples are everywhere. Gmail, Netflix, Salesforce, Dropbox. It is consumption at the end user level.
Okay. Moving up a layer of complexity, we have pays.
Pays is platform as a service. This model provides a whole environment for developers to build, run, and manage applications without the complexity of managing the underlying infrastructure.
So they don't have to worry about the operating systems, the servers, the networking components.
Right. It's perfect for a startup that wants to focus entirely on writing their application code without worrying about server maintenance or patch management.
And the most complex and foundational model is IaaS.
IaaS is infrastructure as a service. This model is essentially renting the bare bones virtualized computing resources, the virtual machines, the storage, the networking capacity directly over the internet.
So who uses that?
A large corporation that's migrating its legacy systems might use IaaS because it gives them maximum control over their operating systems and specialized software. It functions almost like their own on-premise data center, just hosted remotely by the cloud provider.
And cloud storage has made file management seamless for everyone. Services like Google Drive and iCloud let us store files online and get them from any device. But the crucial technical process that enables this is synchronization.
Or syncing. Synchronization is the automatic process that ensures your files stay consistent across all your devices.
So if I edit a document on my laptop,
The syncing process immediately updates that file on the cloud server and then pushes that updated version down to your smartphone and your tablet.
Yeah.
It's the invisible force that guarantees data consistency no matter where you access it from.
another massive service that depends entirely on cloud infrastructure is streaming.
Streaming is how we consume most media now. Music, video, live broadcasts, it's all consumed directly over the internet without downloading or permanently storing the media files on your device.
Spotify, Netflix, Twitch, they're the standard bearers.
The huge advantage is immediate access to these massive libraries of content. It moved us away from the old model of ownership buying DVDs or MP3s to a model of access.
But the trade-off is you need a perfectly stable internet connection.
That's the catch. If your connectivity drops, your content buffers or just stops entirely.
Moving from data management to financial transactions, the cloud powers e-commerce, the buying and selling of goods and services online.
E-commerce has evolved so much, from simple online storefronts to these massive, complex ecosystems. Platforms like Amazon and Etsy just completely redefined retail.
Making it possible to buy almost anything from anywhere in the world and have it delivered efficiently.
We should probably define some specific e-commerce vocabulary. The online marketplace is a platform where multiple independent sellers can offer their products.
Which generates competition and variety. And the shopping cart is the virtual container where you place items before you buy.
Then the final step is the checkout process, where you provide payment and shipping info. The trend here is always toward efficiency.
Leveraging things like one-click purchasing or stored payment info to reduce friction and stop people from abandoning their carts.
And this efficiency is fueled by the financial evolution the internet supports. We now widely use digital wallets like PayPal, Apple Pay, and Venmo.
Digital wallets securely store your payment information, often using complex security protocols like tokenization.
Which is where they replace your sensitive card data with a temporary, non-sensitive code. It makes the payment process much safer and often replaces the need to even carry a physical credit card.
And of course, online banking has just become the standard.
The ability to manage your accounts, transfer money, pay bills, even deposit checks through a website or a mobile app has dramatically reduced our reliance on traditional brick-and-mortar banks.
Here's where we get to the truly revolutionary element in modern finance, though. Cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, are digital or virtual currencies designed to work as a medium of exchange,
What makes them so revolutionary is that they are decentralized.
meaning they are not subject to government or bank control, and they rely on blockchain technology.
So if they aren't controlled by a central authority, how do we trust them? That's where the blockchain comes in.
Exactly. A blockchain is a decentralized, distributed, and often public ledger. Think of it as a giant shared spreadsheet that records transactions across thousands of different computers all over the world.
And once a transaction is recorded in a block,
It is cryptographically linked to the previous block, creating an immutable chain. You can't go back and secretly change a transaction. This architecture provides trust and transparency without needing a bank to verify anything. That immutability is the core innovation.
and finally, we have the human element of this digital business world, the gig economy.
The gig economy is this flexible work environment enabled by internet platforms that connect service providers directly with consumers who need those services.
Platforms like Uber for ride sharing, Airbnb for accommodation, TaskRabbit for odd jobs, Fiverr for freelance services.
This model is built entirely on the internet's ability to coordinate supply and demand instantly, and it's profoundly impacting traditional labor structures, often blurring the lines between being a contractor and an employee.
We should also mention the rise of subscription models. This is the standard business model for the digital world now.
It is. Instead of one-time purchases, services charge recurring fees monthly or annually for continuous access.
Which provides stable, predictable revenue for companies like Netflix and Spotify.
And continuous updated access for users. It's a win-win in many ways.
Okay, we've covered the entire digital ecosystem from the foundational infrastructure all the way up through cloud commerce. Now let's talk about how most of us actually interact with all of this today. Through our pockets, via mobile devices.
The overarching design philosophy in the modern era is mobile first.
Meaning you design for the phone first and the desktop computer second.
Exactly. You design for the constraints and opportunities of smartphones, small screens, touch input, limited battery, recognizing that for most people globally, the phone is the primary gateway to the internet.
And the software programs we use on these devices are, of course, apps. But there's a key distinction in how they're built.
There is. You have native apps, which are built specifically for an operating system like iOS or Android, and you download them from an app store.
They offer the best performance and can access all the hardware features like the camera or GPS.
Then you have web apps, which just run inside your mobile browser. They're platform agnostic, they work anywhere, but they often offer less direct performance and fewer features.
And the distribution centers for all these are the app stores, the Apple App Store, and the Google Play Store.
These marketplaces are absolutely vital. They don't just distribute apps, they enforce strict guidelines and review processes to ensure a certain level of quality, security, and consistent user experience.
They're the gatekeepers in the whole mobile ecosystem.
They are. They ensure developers adhere to certain standards.
The functional impact of these apps is just overwhelming when you stop and think about it.
It is. Ride-sharing apps like Uber completely revolutionized transportation by using algorithms to optimize routes. Food delivery apps change logistics. Navigation apps rely on highly advanced GPS technology for location-based services and have made paper maps nearly obsolete.
There are two important concepts that dictate how effective and engaging an app is. The first is managing user engagement through push notifications.
Push notifications are those messages that an app sends to your device even when you aren't actively using it.
They're designed to bring you back into the app, alerting you to a new message, a sale, a news update.
They are an incredibly powerful tool for engagement, but if they are managed poorly, they just lead to annoyance and users simply turning them off.
The second concept is responsive design. This is essential for the mobile-first era.
Responsive design ensures that a website or an application automatically adjusts its layout, its image sizes, its content flow to perfectly fit any screen size phone, tablet, or desktop.
So you get an optimal viewing experience no matter what device you're on.
Exactly. And this entire system, from developers to users, has created the app economy, which is a massive economic driver.
It is. Successful apps can reach hundreds of millions of users globally. They generate revenue through ads, in-app purchases, subscriptions.
Fueling a vast ecosystem of developers, designers, and marketers who depend entirely on this mobile platform.
Now let's explore the massive expansion that is taking the internet off the phone and into everyday objects. The Internet of Things, IoT.
IoT is defined as the network of physical devices that are embedded with sensors, software, and connectivity, which enables them to exchange data.
We're extending internet connectivity beyond computers and smartphones into virtually every physical object you can imagine.
And this is your home becoming a smart home. Think of the immediate examples. Smart speakers like Amazon Echo and Google Home, which use voice recognition and AI for control and information.
It includes systems for energy management, like smart thermostats that learn your habits and adjust automatically for maximum efficiency.
And sophisticated security systems, smart doorbells, cameras, and locks that you can monitor and control remotely from anywhere in the world with an internet connection.
The health implications are huge too, thanks to wearable devices.
Fitness trackers and smartwatches continuously monitor their health metrics, heart rate, sleep quality, steps, and they can even alert you to potential health issues like an irregular heartbeat.
And often send that data directly to your healthcare provider.
The expansion just keeps going into larger, more complex systems. Smart appliances, refrigerators that track your inventory and suggest recipes, or washing machines you can start from your office.
And especially connected cars, which provide integrated navigation, entertainment, diagnostics, and increasingly autonomous driving capabilities, all dependent on a constant internet connection.
The convenience is just undeniable, but every single one of those connection points comes with an implicit risk. This is the necessary trade-off we have to discuss.
Absolutely. The problem with a lot of IoT devices is that they are often rushed to market without the robust security protocols you'd find in a smartphone or a laptop.
So every connected IoT device, your smart light bulb, your watch, your connected refrigerator, represents a potential new vulnerability for hackers,
A new way into your home network.
a new door.
Hmm.
This inherent risk makes network security absolutely critical.
Which brings us to our final section, cybersecurity and protection measures. We have to protect this vast, interconnected landscape.
Cybersecurity is the comprehensive practice of protecting systems, networks, and data from digital attacks, from unauthorized access, and from damage. It's a constant arms race that changes every single day.
The first thing to define is the umbrella term for all the digital threats. Malware, which just stands for malicious software.
And malware includes several specialized threats. You have viruses, which replicate and spread by attaching themselves to legitimate files.
You have worms, which are similar but can self-replicate and spread across networks without even needing a host file.
Then there are Trojans, which disguise themselves as legitimate or useful software. They trick you into installing them, and then deliver a malicious payload later on.
The one that frightens people the most today is probably ransomware.
And for good reason. Ransomware is a particularly nasty and lucrative form of malware. It works by encrypting all of your files, rendering them completely inaccessible.
And then it demands a ransom often paid in cryptocurrency for a decryption key.
And increasingly, we're seeing what's called double extortion, where the attackers not only encrypt your data, but they also steal it first and threaten to release it publicly if you don't pay.
We also have pervasive threats that rely on tricking the user, not just exploiting software flaws. This is phishing.
Phishing is the fraudulent attempt to get your sensitive information, usernames, passwords, credit card details, by disguising itself as a trustworthy entity.
That email that looks exactly like it's from your bank or from Amazon.
Right. The goal is pure social engineering. Trick the human.
And there's a targeted, more dangerous version of that, spear phishing.
Spear phishing focuses specifically on targeting particular individuals or organizations, even high-value executives.
These attacks are meticulously customized.
They are. They'll often reference specific internal company details or previous conversations to make the fraudulent request seem utterly legitimate, which dramatically increases the likelihood that it will succeed.
So given all these threats, what are the core defensive measures we rely on? We start with the foundational layer of network protection. Firewalls.
Firewalls act as a barrier between a trusted network, like your home Wi-Fi, and an untrusted network, like the broader internet.
They monitor and control all the traffic coming in and going out based on a set of security rules.
Modern firewalls often perform what's called stateful inspection, where they track the operating state of active connections to make sure only legitimate and expected traffic gets through.
We also rely on antivirus software to scan for, detect, and remove malicious software that might have slipped past that firewall. But arguably the most important data protection measure is encryption.
Encryption is fundamental. It is the process of converting your sensitive data into a coded form called ciphertext that's accessible only by authorized parties who hold the correct digital key.
This is absolutely crucial for secure data transmission over the internet.
For example, when you check out on an e-commerce site, encryption protocols like SSL/TLS ensure that your credit card information cannot be intercepted and read by anyone in the middle.
And for access security, the modern standard is two-factor authentication, 2FA.
2FA adds an essential extra layer of security. It requires two distinct verification factors before it grants you access.
Typically something you know, like your password.
Combined with something you have, like a temporary code that's generated by an app on your phone or sent to you via SMS. So if a hacker steals your password, they still can't get into your account without that second factor.
Finally, we need to talk about maintaining privacy and security on public or untrusted networks, which brings us to VPNs.
A VPN, or virtual private network, creates a secure, encrypted connection, a kind of tunnel, over a less secure network, like the public Wi-Fi in an airport or a coffee shop,
VPNs protect your privacy by masking your true IP address and encrypting all of your traffic between your device and the VPN server.
which ensures no local eavesdroppers can see what you are doing online.
This has been a truly comprehensive deep dive. We've covered the entire spectrum of the digital landscape, from the physics of fiber optic cables and the protocols of TCP/IP.
All the way through the cultural and economic shifts driven by the metaverse, cloud architecture, SaaS, PaaS, and the complexity of blockchain technology.
We've established that mastering this dense lexicon is crucial for more than just keeping up. It's essential for participating fully and securely in this rapidly evolving digital world.
Whether you are managing a global business, using an online wallet, or just trying to stream a movie without getting hacked.
And we have to recognize that this vocabulary is an ever-evolving lexicon. The technology, the terminology, the concepts we discussed today will continue to change and expand.
Continuous learning isn't just a benefit anymore, it's a necessity just to keep your head above water in this domain.
So what does this all mean for you? We've explored the profound convenience of the Internet of Things, allowing everything from our lights to our cars to be remotely managed and automated.
But we also acknowledge that every single one of those connected devices is a potential vulnerability, and we are adding these vulnerable devices to our homes and workplaces exponentially.
So if that convenience means integrating dozens of unsecured entry points into your personal network, how much control are you truly sacrificing for the sake of that convenience? What is the actual long-term cost in terms of your data, your privacy, and your security risk of a perfectly smart and interconnected home? That's the critical trade-off for you to mull over as you navigate and secure your own digital frontier.